Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we always love talking about the power of books and literacy. That's why we're honored to have with us Melissa Spradlin, Executive Director of Bookham. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jeremy. How are you?
Doing great. Well, when you talk about what you do, bringing kids and books together since 1989, I love it. I appreciate it. We've had the honor of working with you and your amazing team with our Samaritan's Feet shoe distribution and Kids Dental Day. So we've seen you in action, but let's go ahead and dive in. Give us a little bit of history, as I mentioned, dating back to 1989. Give us some background, some history for Bookham.
Yeah, Bookham was founded in 1989 by 4 women that lived here in Nashville. One of them had access to books and wanted to get them to young people who really needed them and wanted them. She reached out to some other community members. They figured out how to make it work. And essentially, that is what we still do today. I think it's amazing. It shows the power of an individual. You know, somebody has access to a resource that other people need. They want to get that resource to other people. They figure out how to do it. They bring in other community members to make it all happen. And 35 years later, we're giving away over 100,000 books every year now. They started out with a few hundred. So we're thrilled with that. The other thing that we do is we bring community members, just volunteers who care about kids, who love books and literacy, value literacy. They come into elementary classrooms, they read aloud and engage with the students. And they do that several times during the school year. They bring new books to those kids. And these students get exposed to people they would never have met. And that's the other part of what we do. In 2006, Reading is Fundamental Nashville, the program, merged with Bookham. And so we were able to expand our services and our reach to even more young people here in Nashville with that merger. And we are still doing both of those things and loving it.
Well, and as you've already kind of alluded to, you have a number of different programs ranging from the in-person connectivity focused on literacy, the books, obviously. So let's go ahead and start diving into how the magic happens and all the different programs. But let's start with the physical books, because obviously that's where the organization started. So talk about that program and how it works in terms of how you source the books, the fundraising, and where those dollars go to purchase books. Like, go ahead and dive in.
Yeah, so Books for Nashville's Kids is our largest program. It is a book collection and distribution program. So books come from the community. We have people just cleaning off their bookshelves they have books that are in great condition that maybe are not their favorites that they have to keep, but they're ready to pass on. So we get those families that have lots and lots of books for their children, and they don't need all of them. And so they'll pass those on to us. We have companies and organizations that do book drives. Those can be physical, they can be virtual, or both. Some companies are spread out. And they're like, virtual is great. Our employees can go online and order the book that you need, send it directly to you, and you can give us credit for the good work that we're doing. And we love that because we have curated lists of books on Amazon. work locally with Parnassus Books, independent bookstore here in Nashville. They help us with doing book drives several times a year. They match those donations with books from their foundation. We have schools that do book drives where the students are actually coordinating it. So it's actually a project for them as like a class or a grade or a school. We have Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts that coordinate book drives, all kinds of ways. We also have people who donate money. Sometimes people are like, I don't really know what you need. It's easier for me to just say, here's $25. Can you buy some books? And yes, I mean, we actually can purchase books for an average of $2.50. It's hard to buy a book for $2.50 if you're just going to a bookstore. But we can do that. We have relationships with lots of vendors. We get lots of discounts. We know what kids like. We know what we need. There are times when there are gaps in our book inventory where, gosh, we don't have enough 5th and 6th grade books to meet the demand. So let's go buy those 5th and 6th grade books that we know those children love, and that are going to get them excited about reading. And let's spend money on that because that's what our need is right now. 3 months from now, it may be we're saying, oh my, we don't have any pre-K 1st grade books or kindergarten books. Let's go that direction. We always need books that showcase diversity of all kinds. The populations that we serve are families living in economically challenging circumstances. These are people that cannot go to a bookstore and buy a book. They may not have access to our wonderful public library system. So it becomes essential that we book them and the community are providing books that they can access. And that's through ownership. We're firm believers in choice. I mean, we all know what we like. Well, you're much more likely to read a book you picked out for yourself that you're going to love, and you're going to read that book. Well, that's the point. I mean, with anything, you have to practice to get better at it. I mean, you're not a world-renowned cello player after you pick it up one time. You have to practice. And the same thing with reading. If we want our kids to get better as readers, we want them to develop strong literacy skills, they need to read. Well, if you don't have anything at home to read, you're not going to read. So that's a lot of why we do what we do and how we do it. So the books come in from all different sources. We also have publishers that donate books to us, bookstores that donate books. It's amazing to me. I mean, you know, this community is so generous. We're so fortunate to be here at this time. And they come in, and then we have a team of volunteers, volunteer groups, and staff members who go through the books, figure out where they need to go within our system, make sure that they are age appropriate, grade appropriate, that they're in really good condition. That's one of the things that is important to us. And then they go on our shelves, or they go in a box, or wherever we have space, and based on when we need to use them. And then we fill the book requests that come in. And so the way they get out into the community is that we have an online form on our website that schools, teachers, other nonprofits, government agencies, pretty much anybody, any group in Nashville, Davidson County, that works with lower income families can request books from us. They can't request, like, I want all Dr. Seuss books. We're a donation-based program. We don't always have Dr. Seuss on the shelves, but by golly, we will give you a great selection of books. And so we're very, very intentional about putting together these book requests for different audiences. If we know that it's a school that has a lot of English learners that speak Spanish at home, well, we're going to make sure we put some bilingual books in that box so that those parents that may or may not read English really well, they too can practice with their kids in both languages. Being bilingual is a great skill in our society, because it is a global economy anymore. So if we can encourage that people are speaking and reading them in two languages, great, let's do that. And we're meeting them where they are and meeting their need. And then the books get picked up by someone with that organization, and then they actually make sure that the books get distributed or provided to the young people that they serve. And we strongly recommend that they let the young people pick out the books they want, rather than saying, well, here, you get this book, you get that book, you get that book. It's about choice. Long-winded answer to a little question.
That's all right. I love it. Touch on the book bus, touch on the in-person connectivity as well, and how that, is brought to life through volunteers and going in and reading to the kids. So touch on the other programs.
Yeah. So our book bus is a year old. We were approached by the Governor's Early Literacy Foundation to have a book bus for Davidson County through their book bus program. We were honored to be asked. We were the likely partner for that project. Parnassus donated their book bus to us. We totally renovated it. The community supported that with a lot of great donations. Especially some of our foundation partners and organizational partners and corporate partners. It hit the road last February, February 2024 now. And golly, it is so popular. I mean, we knew it would be popular, but everybody that sees it is like, oh, there's the book bus. Doesn't it look great? And then they get on and they're like, oh, this is amazing. It's so much fun. And people get on the bus. They look at the books on the bus. They get to take books home. And so we go to a lot of schools, all tiers. That's one of the things that kind of is unique about us, is that we serve ages 0 to 18 with our Books for Nashville's Kids program and our book bus. Nobody else in Nashville is really providing books to middle and high schoolers. And we want them to read. So they need books too. We have a large focus, though, on the early education area and the elementary level, because that's where kids are really learning how to read and need access to lots of different kinds of books. The bus has all kinds of books on it. It goes to a school, it goes to a community event. So if there are events out there, like we go to the MNPS pre-K sign-up fair. It's early literacy awareness and education, and kindergarten readiness. We'll be there with lots of other groups from the community. People just, families love it. We have families that like sit down and read books together. We have kids that hop on. We have teenagers who hop on the bus and are just as excited as the preschooler. We unfortunately can't go to every event. We have to say no sometimes because there's limited bandwidth. That goes with our book programs too. If we don't have the books, we can't give them away. So we always are fighting that supply and demand issue, as most businesses and groups do. There's more demand than there is supply. We're working on it. You all can help us with that issue. Donate those books, donate that money, so we can meet more demand. But people can also volunteer. So Reading is Fundamental is our primary reading volunteer program. It combines the best of both worlds. It combines the book distribution with reading aloud to kids. That program serves pre-K through 5th grades. In some of our elementary schools, we work with about 17 elementary schools. At some schools, it's pre-K through 2nd grade. Just depends on the need of that particular school. And what's great about it is that, company can do it with their employees. SarahCorps has sponsored an entire school. Their employees are the reading volunteers, and their sponsorship dollars pay for the books. So the way it works is that a volunteer who has been background checked, has gone through the orientation, has done that, they get assigned a classroom. They work with their teacher to figure out the schedule. So I reach out to my 2nd grade teacher at Glengarry Elementary School, where I read, and figure out, okay, Miss Robertson, when can I come? Here are some options, and how many students do you have, and tell me a little bit about them. And she'll get back to me. We'll find a time. I'll go pick up books to take to them that are provided by Bookem, and I will go spend 30 minutes with her 2nd grade class. We will talk. I will ask them questions. I will find out what they're learning in class, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Sometimes I learn things that I didn't know. These are 2nd graders. I'm like, ooh, I should know this. We'll vote on which books we're going to read aloud first. I'll read with them. It'll be interactive. It'll be fun and engaging. I'll ask them questions. They'll have great answers always. And gosh, it's a magical 30 minutes for me. And they tell me it's a magical 30 minutes for them. And I'm like, yes, win-win on that one. Because I have a great time. I am seeing how amazing these students are, how inquisitive they are, how curious and smart they are. And quite frankly, I'm like, yes, this is our future. Amazing. They get exposed to somebody that they would never have met otherwise. I get to encourage them. I get to tell them, reading matters. Work at it. It's fun. It's amazing. Reading does so many things in our lives. Informs us, entertains us, makes us laugh when we need to laugh, provides a friend when we need a friend. Books are amazing. That's what we want kids to know, because if they love books and reading, they're going to get better at reading. That is the foundation to getting a great education. If you can read, chances are you're going to be able to graduate from high school and go on to pursue your dreams. That's the hope. Isn't that what we want for all of our kids? Whether they're ours or not, we want them to go out there and Yes, provide for themselves, provide for their families, pursue happiness and success, whatever that looks like for that individual, and be a contributing member of our society because that's good for all of us. And while maybe somebody doesn't want to go read in a classroom, that's okay. We're not all great at reading to kids. It can be a little intimidating at times, although I'm like, they're going to love you no matter what. You know, maybe you can donate time to sort books. Maybe you can donate a little money. Maybe you can organize a book drive at your place of worship or your office or your neighborhood. I don't know. We all have networks. You know, do what you can do. Everybody can do something to help kids.
Wrap up with where we can go to carry this conversation forward. So website, social media, how do we connect in with you? So when you talk about volunteerism, donations, book donations, all of these great ways to get involved with Bookham, where do we go to carry these conversations forward?
Check out our website. That's www.bookham-kids.org. That's BOOKEM-kids.org. You can find almost everything that I've talked about on our website. We have our volunteer interest form. We have ways people can volunteer. We have how to do a book drive, how to access our Amazon wish list, how to donate books, how to give money. It's all right there. We are on social media, on Facebook and Instagram under Bookham Kids. We're on LinkedIn under Bookham as the company name. You can find us in all of those places. You can always call us at our office, 615-255-1820. You can always email us. You can email me, Melissa, at bookham-kids.org. And I will probably pass you on to somebody who can actually help you on our staff. We're a small group. There are 3 full-time people, and we now have, 6 part-time people. I can't believe it. It's a lot of, it's more help than I've ever had, and it's amazing. We always need more, though.
Well, Melissa Spradlin, Executive Director of Bookham, thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.